We are inspired by the most promising technologies and companies who work towards the goal of humanity becoming a multi-planet species, and we believe it can happen within our lifetime. What will the first colonization efforts look like? Tunnels? Well, not at first. It will take time and equipment to get there. The time for fancy architecture will also come later. The first missions, circa 50 to 100 years from now, will use slightly improved versions of current technology. First Martian cities will not be self-sustainable. A critical mass of people and an independent economy will be required to achieve this. At first, we can expect modular bases, with sections optimized for rocket transport based on the knowledge humanity gathered from projects like the International Space Station. More efficient solar power, combined with some nuclear fission projects, for example kilopower reactors, will be the first and only feasible sources of energy on the Red Planet. A place for great technological expansion will come later. Dear Martians, welcome to Mars. In this YouTube series, we want to bring Mars closer to you. We will show you the interesting details of living on the Red Planet.
HiSeas is a simulated space station. Here we try to recreate what the first colonies or settlements on the Moon and Mars would be like, but only the very first ones for about 6 people. So this dome is pretty small. It's only about 1,200 square feet in size.
So this is our habitat, located at about a 2,500 meter elevation. It's a 12 meter wide dome that's built to support about year-long missions. It's got 2 portholes to view through, 6 bedroom capacity, so therefore 6 crew member capacity. It's powered by the solar panel array. Connected to it is this engineering section, which houses a lot of the power storage as well as our tools and repair kits that we need in and around the hab. Yeah, it's a pleasant place to live. We've got 2 stories in there. The lower story is got our sort of work and kitchen space, and then the upper story is where all the bedrooms are kept. It's got 2 bathrooms in there as well, which are compost toilets, because obviously we don't have plumbing out in the middle of the Martian desert. Yeah, it's a really pleasant place to live. We've lived here for 11 days so far. We're on Sol 11. We love it very much. It's our home away from home, you could say.
We try to simulate everything we can that's similar to what those conditions on the Moon and Mars would be like. That means we eat freeze-dried analog astronaut-type food. We have a limited amount of water. For instance, crews only have access to 100 gallons of water for 2 weeks for 6 people. That includes everything from drinking water to cleaning water, and even water for plants if we have some on mission. We only get our solar power from solar panels, and we have to survive with the energy that it provides us with, though we do have backup plans in case of many bad weather days and therefore a lot of low power that we have to work with.
So this here is our solar array. It produces about up to 5 kilowatts on a sunny day like this, which can charge up all of our batteries inside of engineering within just a few hours. But some days we have some dusty weather, meaning that the solar efficiency goes down. Most times we can manage it, but if the weather gets really bad, especially for several sols in a row, we can switch to that backup generator over there, which can produce just enough power to keep our life support systems running. This yellow cable that's running along here is what provides the fuel for that generator. And then a little further back where that white tube is, that's where our electrical wire runs from the generator through the solar panel and then into engineering where we have our battery banks. Also on the solar array is our communication antenna and a weather station so we can monitor conditions outside and plan our EVAs accordingly. So over here are our water tanks that store our fresh drinking water. The total capacity is around 1,800 liters, and we're currently sitting at about 30% capacity after 11 sols on Mars. We started about 60 or 70% capacity, so we've been pretty good about our water consumption. And that's important because we have a limited supply. That means we can't take showers every single day. The cooking we do can't use too much water. But other than that, since we've been keeping up with those habits of conserving water, we've been doing great on our consumption. You can see we've got these hoses here that take it from the tanks all the way back to the hab. In the event that we did run out of water, we actually do have a backup supply that's unfiltered, so that would require some filtering before we could drink it. But again, since we've been doing well on our consumption, we're all good on that front. Behind me, you can see another view of Olympus Mons, and then beneath me, you can see the rocks are really red in this area. That's because these water tanks are situated really close to the slope of the cinder fissure that we've got right next to our hab. And as I explained before, because the rocks are red, you can tell that they're a lot older. They've been oxidized for longer. The whole cinder formation that we've got around here is estimated to be about 1,200 years old. And then the black lava flows, they're about 300-ish years old. So obviously a large gap in age there.
Aside from suit storage, the engineering segment also features a work table with a rover I'll talk about another day, as well as all of our power storage. These black boxes are the battery banks, which altogether hold 30 kilowatt hours of charge. Here I'm showing you the battery displays. If all these batteries were charged to 100%, they'd last about 2 to 3 days depending on power consumption, which changes depending on the equipment we use or even the food we cook. Now, to wrap up the tour of the habitat, I decided to show you all the interior layout. These are the crew quarters, which are arranged in a semicircle and shaped like pie slices to save on space. You'll notice the dome has a sort of two-story layout, which is quite similar to a dome that you can use in Occupy Mars. I personally enjoyed this particular architecture because it kept the personal and sleeping spaces separate from the communal work and living areas, which made it really easy to transition from one space to the other as you either woke up or went to sleep. This quarter of the hab was devoted to a laboratory, which houses all of our medical equipment and astrobiology samples. It also features a window through which you can see the solar panel array that I showed you earlier. This was a really clear morning when I recorded this, which was excellent for our crew since the prior two sols had really bad dust storms, which kept our power percentages quite low. We were happy to finally be able to charge to 100% that day. And then turning around here, you can see the lab sink there. And then just outside the lab is the downstairs bathroom, which has a shower, a urinal, and a compost toilet. There's also an upstairs bathroom, which features just a compost toilet and a sink. There, of course, is the entrance to the airlock. Right next to that is a treadmill, which we used for exercise. There's an elliptical bike on the left, all of our desks along the wall. And then in this corner is our CO2 vent, which we had to keep on at all times in order to avoid CO2 poisoning. You can see a dining room table there with benches and a TV. And then that white vase-like structure is our lettuce grow hydroponics device, which, because of the low power situation we had for the prior two sols, we had to power down and place by the window so the plants at least had some light source. Thankfully, we were able to turn it on once we charged up our batteries sufficiently on this same day that I recorded this. And then, of course, we have yet another window, which happens to have the best view in the hab. You can see Olympus Mons off in the background. Definitely a favorite for the crew to look through. It was also great for monitoring weather for EVAs. So turning away from the dining room window, you can see the kitchen segment of the habitat. The crew would take turns every day making breakfast, lunch, or dinner with the ingredients that we had, which were mainly powderized or basically long-term storage ingredients. Nothing liquid or refrigerated was really used as an ingredient because it had to last a long time. On the right is where we washed all of our dishes, and then here's a whole shelf of our different dried ingredients. Up on this shelf here, you can see the spices that we use to give our meals a little extra flavor. Some additional dried ingredients on these shelves back here. This open door here leads into a maintenance section, which we didn't really make use of. It was mainly for ventilation reasons, just to keep air circulating in the hab. There's a storage closet here. Next, I actually walk over to my desk to show you one of the systems I interacted with as a crew engineer, and that is the EMC hab control system. You can see that it shows a map of the hab and its surroundings, as well as a ton of readouts like power levels and water levels graphed over time. I could actually pull up the floor layout here. On the left is the lower level and the right is the upper level. This showed things like temperature and CO2. All these stats I would monitor and fill out in my engineering reports to check if we were consuming too much or if systems were having issues. And then I could also pull up camera feeds all around the hab. This one in particular looked back at the dome, and you can see the shadow of the ridge being projected onto the white surface there. And yeah, that's about the entirety of the dome, which was an excellent place to stay, even though it was only 12 meters wide. It still felt quite spacious, as you can tell from this view. It was an excellent place to stay for 2 weeks, and I would have happily stayed longer. Though I was pretty happy with the hab that we had available to us, as an engineer I found myself wanting to build onto it and expand it, which is something you can do in Occupy Mars. Of course, when we really settle the red planet, we're going to need something much bigger than just a 12-meter wide dome. So hopefully you and I will one day contribute to the actual architecture of the first true colony on Mars. I hope to see you there on the red planet.